obviously you have this remarkable start to your career. I mean, irrespective of scoring 6 goals in your first 3 or 4 games or whatever it was, you 3 seasons of scoring 30 odd goals, right? I would say that in today's society that might be considered what top strikers do.
Yeah.
But in your time, a goal in every 2 games, because I made the observation to Michael Owen about being bland by scoring 1 goal in 2 wouldn't get him to win the Ballon d'Or in this day and age, and he told me that the players of his generation were much better than the modern day footballers.
I agree, but you know what you're saying, go back to what you're saying there, Simon, as well. Do
you agree with Michael's observation that you guys in your period were better than the players now?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was my period. That's simple. I mean, what you were saying there before about Michael winning, scoring 1 in 2. Now you probably wouldn't win the Ballon d'Or with that nowadays. I get that, but you also mentioned the fact is that players score 31, 32, 33 goals, a year. I mean, I'd done that as a young kid.
It's remarkable.
No one's done it since. So
no, I know that.
So that for me, that's an incredible achievement. And when you think about football and you think of lifestyles of where we are now to where we were when we played, I mean, football has changed. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the game's probably quicker. The players are looked after better. But that's not a slant or on what we were doing, because we done what we needed to do. And if we were to adapt to the culture of today, we do it. I think we as players, I think we were technically very, very good. We might not be as fit as some of the players, but if you put me in the game today, I mean, I have no doubt
you'd hit the levels.
I would still score goals. And I would score more goals.
Given that, and also the adoration of the Liverpool fans. I mean, you don't get called. I mean, Matthew Le Tissier got called Le God at Southampton, but with respect to Matthew, Liverpool's on a different level to Southampton. You're getting called God by Liverpool fans, and you're revered. Why didn't this translate into England?
You know what? I don't know. The genuine answer is I don't know, because I mean, I'd scored almost 100 goals before I got my first cap. I mean,
what do you make to that?
I think it's extraordinary. In all honesty, I genuinely think it's a little bit of a head wrecker.
So who would have been the coach? The Taylor?
No, it was after Graham Taylor. So it
would have been Venables.
Venables, yeah. Venables obviously gave me Glenn Hoddle, Terry Venables, Glenn Hoddle.
Sven,
yeah. So they were
in your pomp, when you're a fly machine, and you're scoring 30 odd goals a season in the first 3 seasons. Today and age, you'd be in the England squad like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But at the time, why do you think that is? I mean, I know there's players around. There's Shearer, there's Sheringham, there's Wright, there's Ferdinand, there's Cole, but you'd put yourself up with those guys.
And genuinely, I would back myself to be better than them all. That's obviously me, and obviously my belief and my confidence in myself and what I could do. In terms of goal scoring, I was probably the best at the time. I'm not saying I was playing in the best team by any means. I never had a team that was built around me. What other players did. But when you think of sort of England teams, and
you're talking about Blackburn or Shearer.
Yeah, I think teams and obviously other teams, possibly right here, Arsenal as well. And there's other players, and I'm not having a go with them. It really doesn't concern me, to be fair. And I mean, what concerned me was the amount of goals I'd scored, and I still couldn't get a look in. Now, you think back and think, well, it's probably wrong, but being a manager now and being a coach now, you think, if you're a manager and you're comfortable with certain players in certain formations or certain players in certain roles, then you're going to go with that. And at the time it's hard to take, because you think, well, I should be a given, I should be in that.
But it's more than one manager though, isn't it? Right? You're smashing it, yet you're not getting the opportunities, and it's not just one England manager, it's 2 or 3 England managers. Do you think it's anything about you? Do you think there's anything you could have done differently? Is it anything about perception? Because I know that there's issues in where you feel that perceptions of you are not always where they should be.
I got 26 England caps, and it was probably a few months ago where I was sort of delving into obviously my England career, and I only started 11 games, and out of the 11 games, I only finished 4 of them. So did I get a probably decent chance?
Yeah.
Probably not, in all fairness. And I mean, people can make it out what they want, you know.
But what do you make of it? People can make of it what they want, but it's more important what you make of it.
Yeah, well, what I make of it is that the managers at that particular time thought other players were better.
Mm.
You know, and that's the simplicity of it. You know, I can sit here and I can cry and I can pour milk on anything, but you know, the fact of the matter is that that's what the managers were thinking. I don't agree with it. You know, and I still won't agree with it.
Did you enjoy playing for England?
No, I never enjoyed playing for England for the simple fact is I never played enough. When I played, of course, you know, I did love playing for England, but I always felt I was a bit part player. I always felt I was going to go down there and I was never ever going to play. Now, I think anyone will tell you if you're going down there all the time and you're in squads and you're never really getting a look in, it's a bit
demoralising.
It's more than a bit demoralising because the amount of goals I'd scored, you know, from a club. So I'm not saying that you have to have a defined right to go and start, you know, any game for England, but
you want a fair quick.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to think that the games I did start and the games I did play, I'd done okay. But I mean, the fact that managers just thought other players were better. I mean, I can't speak for them other than that, Simon. In all honesty,
did it annoy you, irritate you, honestly here, that Owen seems to have been taken so readily into the England setup? Did that sit? You're playing in the same side. There is an element of the, and this is perception, mate. So don't get irritated by it. That Owen is eclipsing you. You'll probably see it differently.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
And he's in the England setup, and it's lights, camera, action for Michael Owen. And it seems to me that you're becoming a little bit of an afterthought. Does that irritate you? Or did it irritate you at the time? Did it disappoint you?
Not at the time.
I'm not saying you begrudge Michael.
No, of course. I know what you're saying. And of course, look, you're upset not to be playing. But, I mean, did I want Michael to fail or did I want him not to do well? I wanted to get... Of course, I wanted to play, but I did not want Michael to not succeed.
I know you would. I'm not suggesting that you would,
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. But, I mean, I'm just talking from my point of view. I think, you know, players are sort of one-dimensional in terms of looking after ourselves. We've always done that.
Which is what you have to do.
You know, and I think that's probably why I scored him out. Because you are a little bit selfish. But
especially as strikers.
Of course, and I think you probably need to be, in all honesty. But if you think of a footballing person and you know the way they are and the way people's perception of them is, I think Michael's perception is, you know, he thought more of England than his club. Yeah. But with mine, I thought more of my club than England. Yeah. Now it could have been the other way around if I'd have played more for England.
Which kind of would have endeared you to Scouse fans, because there is this Scouse mentality about England,
of course,
and the royal family and all that goes with that, isn't there? So that,
well, the royal family is relatively new, isn't it? You know, I think if you go back as far as, I mean, you look at the cup finals in 86.
They weren't doing the national anthem.
No,
then.
not then. No, so I think that is a relatively new thing. But look, it is what it is in terms of football. You know, people can think what they want. I mean, I always thought I was better than Michael, in all honesty, even when Michael was coming through, you know, and I'm not sitting here being egotistical or being derogatory towards Michael. I think the only thing, and I mean, this might get a little bit of a thing, but Michael was quicker than me.
Yeah.
But every other element of being a striker, I genuinely think I was better. Right. Now, Michael can sit here and he can say exactly the same thing. But that is my opinion, and that is my self-confidence. I was better in every aspect of being a striker. You know, and look, that might come across as, you know,
not sure for you, mate,
egotistical. But
Michael can look after himself, can't he?
Of course he can, and you know, and I get on very well with Michael, in all honesty. But you know, Michael will sit and say the same thing because he has that incredible confidence, and he played to the level he did because he was
I don't think there's anything wrong, Robbie, with having belief in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who's going to believe in you? If you believe you were, I mean, people will take those sort of words and twist them how they want, right? Yeah. But you say what you mean and mean what you say.
Of course.
And I think I've done things in my life I've been better than other people, and sometimes I say it and sometimes I don't. In the context of the way that I'm framing questions, I'm almost making you say to some extent, because I'm putting you in a corner and saying about Owen with this, and I think it's entirely fucking right that you turn around and go, well, actually, by the way, I think I'm this and I think I'm there. Talking about strike partnerships and talking about players that you've played with, I mean, you formed various partnerships with Ian Rush, with Michael, and with Stan Collymore.
Yep.
When you look back on those, which was the most enjoyable to play with? And is there a hierarchical structure in strike partnerships?
There probably is, in all fairness. Now, in terms of how your team want to play,
yeah.
I mean,
because in the days of you, it's 4-4-2,
I mean,
right? In this day and age, it's different.
Obviously, a two strikers, and you know, myself and Stan, we were a great partnership. Now, I think of anyone will tell you who their best strike partner is the player that you score your most goals with.
Correct. Yeah.
I mean,
is that true though?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yes, definitely. Now, my best strike partner was Stan Collymore.
Stan Collymore.
Now, I'm not saying Stan's the best player I've ever played with, but
he was a good player though.
Yeah, he was brilliant. He was brilliant. Now, in terms of players to play with, I mean, I thought Steve McMahon was unbelievable. Steve McMahon was incredible. But in terms of strike partners, Stan was my best because I had my most fruitful time scoring goals playing with him.